Hi folks, gather around as I expose to you a tall tale told from the Korean Peninsula. That's what I'm going to do right here in this video. Late June, early July, a university in Seoul, South Korea, Seoul National University, they released a film proving, so they say, that this is absolute film proof that the Japanese Imperial Army held sex slaves, Korean girls, as sex slaves. This is the proof. And they said they got it from the National Archives. And they did get it from the National Archives outside of Washington, D.C. And news reports all over reported, golly gee willikers, they finally found proof of this sexual enslavement by the Imperial Japanese Army. There, the proof, because it came from the National Archives. Shun and I looked at that film, and immediately we realized there was something nefarious taking place, a little bit of subterfuge. The truth was not being told, because it was an 18-second film. Now, we all know when in the United States, when they show videos of the police beating somebody, you only see the police beating. You never see what transpired before. And that's when we were concerned. What existed before? And we also was concerned because we know in the United States Army in 1944, when this film was made, they also had to attach written documentation. They didn't just submit the film and say, okay, here's the film, bye-bye. They had to write up what the film is about. So we knew we had to go to the National Archives outside of Washington, D.C. to find the full film and also the written documentation. And that's exactly what we did. Now, the people in Seoul National University in Seoul, South Korea, in the write-up, in the news reports, it states they searched for 2 years, the National Archives. 2 years. Well, we found out from a reliable source at the National Archive, sources, that they were not there for 2 years. Oh, they showed up 2 years for a short duration in 2015, and then for the month of December they showed up once for a short duration in 2016. That's when they located this film. Gee! So it took them 6 or 7 months to release the film after they located it? Were they just making up the story, the narration to go along with it? Or were they waiting for President Park to get out of office and for a new president to come in who will then resurrect the Comfort Woman issue with Japan after this film? Could that possibly it? Could there be some politics here? A little bit of Japan bashing? Well, as I said, it was an 18 seconds film. Well, Shun and I located the whole film, and it was 10 minutes. And all of it is military actions in China. What happened was the United States Army Signal Corps was attached to the Chinese Army and made these films. Now, the narration, when they released this film, the university in South Korea, they added narration this year. Not 70 years ago or however long it was from 1944, because there was not any. Let's listen to the narration of this clip.
7 young women tremble in fear. They have terrified looks on their faces, and they are all barefoot. They are the so-called comfort women of the Japanese Army who were taken prisoners of war by the combined forces in September 1944 in Songshan, China.
See? They were Koreans. Oh yeah, they were sex slaves. But wait a minute, the film was a silent film. Where did they get that from? I say they made it up. And here's why I say that. Because the United States Army attached a descriptive card to this film. And on this descriptive card, guess what it reads about those women? Gee, they were Chinese girls. That's right, not Korean, not Japanese, not Filipino, but Chinese girls. They continue on by stating this, that the girls were frightened, basically. And they were frightened. Wouldn't you not be frightened? Here we have a bunch of Chinese girls acting as paid prostitutes for the Imperial Japanese military, basically collaborating with the Japanese military, the enemy of China, So now Chinese troops captured them. Gee, now of course they're going to be frightened and have that look on their face. Our own troops captured us. What are they going to do to us? Further into the narration that was added this year, they state that these girls were, after they were found, were prisoners of war. But wait a minute, if you just rescued them from sexual enslavement, why would you classify them as prisoners of war? The dope at the university that added that narration, you basically defeated yourself when you added that narration in there. Then they show a film clip of a hotel in China. And listen to what they say about that hotel.
They also found a video showing a hotel that the Japanese soldiers used for sex slavery.
Yeah, the narration added this year. Sexual enslavement took place there. You want to know what the National Archives says about that film? In the description by the National Archives about that film, guess what? Those were geisha girls. Gee, geisha girls? Geisha girls are Japanese. Geisha girls are not well-paid prostitutes. They're entertainers. So here we have two film clips. One of Chinese girls, one of geisha girls. Nowhere Koreans, is it mentioned? Nowhere sex slaves. Nowhere forced servitude. That was all added. Not in 1944 when they found that film. In 2017 when it was released by the Seoul University and National University in South Korea. They added it and everyone who grabbed onto that false narration. Also in some of the reports attached to this narration, to this video, the film issue, they claim that the Army Sergeant, U.S. Army Sergeant who filmed it was a gentleman by the name of Edward C. Faze. Well, the National Archives, we asked about, can we find any documentation from Edward C. Faze, part of the Signal Corps, the 164th Signal Corps? There's no such thing, they said. He is nowhere in this National Archives, they told us. What? Now remember, the National Archives in College Park outside of Washington, D.C. is the repository for all U.S. military records from the Second World War, and probably even more. And they did not have this. So why did the dopes add that name in there? Well, what was the purpose of that? Just like when what was the purpose of narrating they were prisoners of war? Because they were prisoners of war. You told the truth for once that they were held prisoners of war by the Chinese military. Subterfuge. It all stinks. Once again, it was incumbent upon Shun and I to travel across the country and him halfway around the world to expose the truth, the subterfuge, the lies coming from the comfort woman mafia in reference to this issue. Alright, folks. We'll see you. Now remember, I didn't say all this. The United States military, the United States Archives provided all the proof to what I told you. We'll see you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the nation you happen to be in. And God bless our good friends and trusted allies in the land of the rising sun, Nihongoku, Japan.